Hey guys, I'm Mike,
And I'm Tim.
and this is the Board Game Rundown. And we are live from our basements because we dig deep to cover games. Tim, how are you?
Oh, dude, you brought your A game today. That was good.
Straight face, new tagline.
I see. That's why you didn't pop up from the side, because you needed to make sure you nailed that intro. And
I needed to make sure I didn't crack a smile with it as well. That was the other part of the new intro. No smiling. I don't want to add any flavor to my voice. No texture. No. Just want to deliver information.
That's all we're doing. That's all we are. We are here as vessels of information.
That's correct.
That's
it. Thank you for appreciating our new direction, Tim. I was the decider when I picked our new direction. By the way, I know you weren't consulted.
I don't care. You're good, man. Hey, as long as it's good, it's good.
That's right.
And if it stinks, I'll be like, okay, Mike, that sucked. Let's not do that one again. But you nailed it.
Hop, were you the one that suggested the topic? Are you talking about top 10 boards? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, Hop, I've seen you in like so many different live chats, by the way, now. Because I recognize the avalanche symbol. I've seen him in the Dice Tower live chats. Anyway.
Oh, yes, we are doing.
Yes, he is. I've seen him in there. We are doing top 10 boards tonight. That is correct.
Unlike the Dice Tower, we will honor requests. I don't know. Dice Tower is just too big to mess around with it.
Well, they do. Anybody that gives them I can't remember what it's called, pays to get their thing up
like
there.
A super chat?
All those get. Ooh, Tim?
And David, no, they did not. So Mike wants to do a separate video that is specifically for the drawing of Nightmare Productions, but it is officially reset as of right now. So that person, I'll double check that email real quick. Nope, there's nothing in that email, nothing new. So that person never reached out to me. So their negligence is your reward. So yeah, I think tomorrow night, Mike and I are going to draw a new winner. So that I originally was like, I'll just do it tonight while we do the live show, but that's not necessarily fair to people that are just trying to watch to see who won.
Yeah.
So
we need a separate video with a separate thumbnail so that people know this is the video. This is not that video. So redraw.
So David, we're going to redraw tomorrow night, probably at like 8 o'clock. We'll post it either in the Discord. I'll post it on the YouTube page, as a community. Hey, heads up. But Mike will make up a nice, pretty thumbnail for it, and we'll be good to go.
Very low quality, as per usual.
Listen, the bar is low. They all look pretty to me, especially when you're drinking Wild Turkey.
Oh, yeah. You're still on that Wild Turkey?
Listen, man, I do not drink this recreationally. I just drink it for the show.
Well, that's the only way I would be drinking Wild Turkey, is if it was wind. Okay, well, I was ready for a new pour, Tim. I still got a tiny bit of that Jack Daniel's rye left, but I just no hurry to finish it. I remember I was still hanging on to that cheap bottle of Evan Williams Apple. That went quick because that's why you get cheap bottles of Evan Williams Apple. So Elijah Craig's small batch. Yes, small batch equals better, apparently. So it's going to be my first swig and pour. Tim, we're still on that Wild Turkey. That's correct. Confirmed.
Yep.
No changes.
Yep. It's confirmed. I got my big old honking ice cube in there. My turkey on the rock.
That's correct. Very massive rock right in there. After the interesting week I've had, I'll make a very generous pour here.
Cheers to that.
Ooh. Okay.
That first one was just kind of
the reaction to that. It wasn't even what I could see, it was just what I could hear. Just whoa.
Yeah, that was my soul exiting my body and then coming
That
back
clearly was.
in. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Well
I need
done.
to let it simmer a little more on this ice cube. And then I can,
Oh,
it
that's
was still
great. Yes.
it's still a little too room temperature for me.
Also true, David. And by the way, hello. I don't think I've seen you on our streams before. If I'm wrong, either way, welcome.
I believe David has been on the giveaway.
And
on the
Hop,
giveaway.
I hope I don't have a lot of big epic boards in mine. I got a kind of variety of stuff tossed in here, but I have my reasons. Anyway, Tim, do you want to jump into business just real quick? It sounds like people are excited for this list, but we're excited for a couple things to talk about real quick going on with the channel.
Yeah. So, anyways, like Mike was saying, yeah, we got a lot of stuff. We filmed a lot of videos on Sunday. They were all like Kickstarter previews. We did our final video for Forges of Ravenshire, so then we'll stop talking about that for a month until it comes out on Kickstarter early April, right? April 14th, something like that.
April 18th.
April 18th. Thank you.
I wanted to put it on this list.
So, right. I mean, it would be deserving. It would be deserving.
It has holes for the dice in each worker spot.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
cool.
Dual layer.
And the player boards fold open. I love that. And it's dual layered. And the little guild tokens have a notch to like pull them out of, and they slot in perfectly. Anyway, as you were saying, Tim,
they were really well designed. Yeah,
love the boards for that game. Go on.
So we did a video for Forges. We did a video for the horror game show, which is on Kickstarter right now. It is
currently less than a week left.
Yeah, it's incredibly violent, very dark theme. It is sort of like Running Man the game if you were the producer of Running Man. And Mike, what's the one thing we can all agree on about that game? Horror game show. What's the one thing we all loved across the
art?
The art was great. The art was great. Really, really tied in the theme, brings you into the game. And I'm not
very gory, detailed.
I'm not just being snarky because of things that have happened.
Look at these freaks I'm making go around and murder these other guys just to get me fans and money. Awesome. Very adult-oriented game.
It is. But we had a good time with it. It can run a little long potentially. And then there might be possibly some downtime between turns depending on what's happening and if you're the person getting beat on. But
it may not have a ton of depth. We haven't seen a lot of the different character cards though. I don't know.
Right.
But yes. Correct, Trevor. No modular boards. No modular. Just has to be one physical piece. Does not have to be made out of cardboard, however.
Oof. David, I could never get brave enough. I've drank a lot of horrible things. I have never been able to bring myself to drink eggnog, old or new.
My problem is, and maybe it's just because I haven't paid enough to not have a headache when I finish, before I finish drinking it. In fact, it's kind of like, never mind. It's kind of like coffee. Anyway. You know, you go to the bathroom immediately.
Oh, sure.
Eggnog, you're just going to get a headache immediately after drinking it. I just have to, unless I got to pay more money. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're
certain
just
drinks have these effects.
Too cheap.
They all give me a headache.
So also we've got a video coming out for a game called Soiled, which is coming to Kickstarter in March. We've got a video coming out for a game called Reflections, which is also coming Kickstarter, I believe, next month.
Super cool, unique game.
Yeah, I've never played anything like it. It's one of
just real quick, because I loved this concept, Tim, it's a drafting game where the cards are set up. It's a 2-player only game. You mirror a layout of cards on each side of the table. So if you put a pyramid on one side, you do a pyramid on the other side. Then you draft one card, but then the other player has to draft the exact opposite card on the other side of this arrangement. And you can pick from either side. And there's two suits, and each suit scores differently, and some are negative and some are positive. Crazy game.
Yeah, it's really
Loved it.
it's really clever. It is
Super
really clever
cool.
and super
Like that
easy to
one a lot.
teach. Yeah, it was really neat. And I enjoyed
Just how-
Soiled quite a bit.
Yeah, Soiled was a lot of fun. It's very interactive. It can also be people may not enjoy having their cards uprooted, but it's a thing that can happen, and it's a thing you need to do or you'll lose. You just have to accept there's constant people screwing with your cards. It can be very mean. And yeah, that can make it great though. It's very interactive.
And then some things that we're going to be filming coming up this weekend, and then we'll get to this list. Very soon, not this weekend, but very soon, I'm going to be filming a War of the Ring, the card game tutorial video, because I've heard that the rules can be a little, it's easier sometimes to have something taught to you. There's not a ton of rules videos out there, so we're going to try to do one. Our friend Chris Kaizat, who made Shadowgate, has asked if we would film a playthrough of it. So if you're a fan of the PC game or the original NES game like me, Shadowgate is a really awesome representation of that. I know in the Discord we were talking about IPs, video game IPs that have come over to board game, and Shadowgate was one for me. And they're from Trick or Treat Studios. We actually were lucky enough we can be hipster and say, oh, we knew them before they signed with anybody, because they were at a proto spiel that we hosted here in South Bend. And so I got to see Shadowgate way early, and then we got on that bandwagon. I was excited about it. Again, the art is freaking fantastic, but they got access to all the Shadowgate PC art, which is amazing. And then one more we've got coming up. This is designer Michael Crandall. He's got a game coming out called Chemical Overload, and I'm really excited to start talking about that soon. It is almost like Potion Explosion. It sounds like Mike's running up his stairs. It's kind of like Potion Explosion, but not. You've got you're still like getting cards. You're drafting cards to get items to create your spell, or not your spells, but your potions and everything. And there is a
Oh, Tim's buffering. Hopefully I saved him early enough. Maybe.
Mike, you left and the echo started. And I buffered. Yeah, there's the Soiled box.
Tim, are you still on that?
No, Chemical Overload. It's sort of like Potion Explosion in theme, but very different otherwise. You're trying
but just
to get
way more chemicals, like almost overloaded with them.
Yeah, it is like that. So
okay,
I'm gonna answer a message, Mike, so you talk real quick.
Last one. In case you didn't know, Quackalope friend West, aka Mingo, friend of the show, they did a top 10 under the radar indie games thing last year, and Wes spent all of PAX U in the indie rooms, and this was one of his favorites from PAX U, and that was the Great Rat Wars. And so Bob has learned the game from Zach Law on Tabletop Simulator. Bob will be teaching me and hopefully others very soon. This game is coming to Kickstarter, I believe, also next month. No, this is an April one. And it looks really cool. Let me just show. No, there's terrain pieces, like chunky terrain pieces. And this is a big old box. And it's like a 1V mini. The Great Rat Wars, folks. I'm excited to play this one. So, yeah. That's all I'm going to say for now. But coverage coming soon. But it was Wes' favorite indie game from PAX U. So, if that means anything to you, there you go. Okay, that being said, I think I don't know what Tim's digging for.
I'm just trying to do some business on the side while we're.
Oh. Well, I'm ready to get down to business and jump to our number 10. Are you
Go
in
for
that ballpark?
I'm working on our potential swag stuff real quick. I'm trying to send some messages because I'm getting some questions. So
he's working on what we're doing at our Origins and Gen Con booth, folks, because we're going to have one at both.
Yes.
That was Tim's cue.
Yeah, so we're trying to come up with ideas for some fun kind of swag to have, like give out, maybe 6-sided die, maybe like a tote bag, something like that.
This guy.
Oh, yeah, Tommy Boy. That's a Tommy Boy reference right there.
Yes, sir.
Next
thing you know, the change is missing off your dresser and your daughter's knocked up. I've seen 1,000 texts.
I love that movie. Oh my God. Yeah. Love it.
New guy's in the corner, puking his guts out. All right. As you were.
No, you're good. That's just one of the things we've got in the works. I'm actually messaging about that. We're messaging about we're actually coming up with the with a Patreon. Right now, we don't have a ton of reward things in mind yet because we don't want to really put anything behind a paywall right now. So we're talking about just having a very small tier system where you first X amount of people get in, it's like a lower amount to just donate, be part of the show, and we'll go up from there. And then we'll find things to do with the Patreons as we go down the road. But and if we did put something behind a paywall, it would really only be like early access. At least that's our thinking right now, right? All of these things are subject to change. We appreciate all of the support that we get from you guys, and y'all are fantastic. So we are just trying to engage with the community and keep this beautiful ball rolling. So, all right, that's all what I got.
All beautiful things.
Mike, are you ready to get into our top 10 board game boards?
Am I ready? Let me just tell you how ready I am.
That's pretty ready. Are you going first today, or you want me to go first?
No, I like to be I'm the segue guy, so
okay.
I gotta have the segue controls for whatever reason.
You got it. Well, I'll go first, and I'm gonna grab one that might be on Mike's list, so I'm gonna get it out of the way now. Da, 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 da.
Oh wow! It is not. I'm so happy to see this on the list.
Fantastic player board. This is from Role Player. I love that they've got either gender, like you want to be male or female. You flip it over, you're ready to go. I just think it's great. Half the time I just put it down in front of me and I'm not even paying attention to what gender I am because I don't care, but people do care, and that's awesome for them. I love the punch out aspect of this. So your dice just aren't sliding around willy nilly, right? And you can put those die in. This board is so functional and just does things amazingly. It enhances my experience with the game. So Role Player, the player board specifically, is my number 10. All right, Mike, what do you got?
I love that pick. I love that pick. That's awesome.
I know you would.
I did not see that coming. One of the fun things about the Role Player board specifically, once you get your alignment card and then your backstory card, and then you've got your player board, and that's when that role-playing element hits in. If you're one of those people, we're like, okay, I'm the thieving, archbishop, orc.
Chaotic neutral, yeah.
Yeah, I love how that that part kind of kicks in there. So
it's great.
Okay, so our first audible. Just trying to keep a particular game off the list. Talk about different games. And I'm going to talk about Wayfarers of South Tigris, baby. Because
Yeah.
first of all, the main board is great. And yes, I know it is kind of that track that Lost Ruins of Arnak has, but it's implemented in a very different way. And I like how that track system is the in-game trigger. So, you know, if you feel like you got a good point engine going, you want to push up that track. And I also like the way on that track, you don't have to give stuff up to go up that track. You just have to have those particular tags, and then you go up that track. Hey, nice. I couldn't even remember what number it was. I appreciate that. It's very high. I love Role Player, and I interviewed Keith Matejka at Gen Con, and he was an awesome guy.
Yeah, it's weird you didn't call him that when you interviewed him, though.
Well, it is weird. Maybe I should have asked him if that's what I should have called him.
Nothing but love, Mike.
Anyway, I know. So yes, and then Wayfarers, the player boards, man, and how you can customize them because you're rolling dice and you have to activate. You're activating them to get different. Basically,
I always say
inputs.
Tigris, but
Tigris. I know. I struggle with it too. Tigris. I think it's Tigris. Anyway, yeah, one of the two. Love the player board. The way you can change what your dice give out. Like if you want to have every pip give you camels, you could do that, or you could have one pip give you 3 camels. It's just different ways you can customize it. Super cool. Great game.
Yeah, it's fantastic board.
Yeah, it is. It's not that it's that great looking. I just love what you can do with those 2 boards, man.
Hey, sometimes the
way they're
functionality
implemented
just puts it over the top.
Yes, there it is. Okay, number 9.
All right,
Long Eye. I don't know. I think I change it every time I say Tigris.
So I don't care what your political affiliation is. James Carville said it best when he said, "KISS, keep it simple, stupid." And this board here that I'm about to present is the epitome of that.
Ooh.
But I picked the dark version because it is so good. King of Tokyo. The coloration of this, right? With the where they implement color, the functionality of this board. So meaty. It's so good. It's beautiful. I love it.
Never actually paid any attention to that board. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I remember hearing the idea of it and it sounded cool, but I owned it. I'm like, I don't need another version. That looks amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it. It was one of the first boards to come to mind when we talk about like great looking boards. And I was in. That board's beautiful. I don't care if you like King of Tokyo or not. That board's beautiful. I love that mixture of the art and the black and white and the contrast with the colors. So good. It gets me every time. Wow. King of Tokyo, the black edition.
Okay, my number 9 is a game I only got to play once and need to play more because, well, it's co-designed by Co-Whirl, and I probably pronounced that wrong too.
I thought it was Co-Whirly, but maybe it's not Whirly.
I don't know either. So, and I need to play it more, but the cloth board from PAX Premier second edition is
so cool.
Unique, so clean, also functional because the pieces are just kind of like rectangles that just kind of lay down and you only need clean lines. It's the great table presence when you play that game. I need to play it again, but that cloth board, man, just sticks with you when you see it on the table. It is a very, very cool looking component. So,
yeah, dark edition. I said black.
Like
it's the dark edition, David. You are correct. But yeah, it's so good. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And yeah, man, I remember seeing that PAX Premier cloth. You know, I would say thing, but it's the board. And I was just kind of blown away at like how thematic that felt. Like I felt like Like it just pulled me right into the theme there. Like we're just playing this outside, like maybe on a rock or a tree stump.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
it looks so great. I love the color palette of the components too, just kind of pastel.
yeah, hop until Mike springs for a laptop, which I'm not. That's his choice. Yeah, we're not amazing at rolling the
soon.
footage or.
Sorry, we're only like 3 months into our live streaming tenure. Soon we're unlocking additional capabilities here. That's going to be a self-funded investment into the channel for yours truly here. So if you can hold on until I get that laptop, that's coming soon. But yeah, this was my number 9. PAX Premier 2nd Edition is the reason I specifically said it does not have to be made out of cardboard. So, there you go. Rhyme behind the reason.
Yeah.
Numero ocho.
Ocho.
I love that came over during the transition screen for you. Mine automatically mutes me, so I guess that's my cough segue all the time.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, I'm moving into some sprawling nation maps, and this board I just love because it basically tells you exactly how to play the game on the board, but it also conveys the feeling of the game, and that is my Black Orchestra board here, and it's upside down. Yeah, Black Orchestra. It gives you like the rules breakdown, turn stuff, on the bottom, and then at the top you've got all these different locations and different things that are going to happen. It's great if you get thrown in the jail because the Gestapo gets you. There's different things that happen there. This game is fantastic, super hard, amazing theme. And the vibe of this game is so good. It's so tense. It is a difficult co-op that I always enjoy playing. And that's right. I said it because it was a topic of conversation in some groups is, can you enjoy games with dark themes? I mean, you can play them, right? And you're allowed to play them and like playing them. But there was a question of whether or not you could enjoy playing a game with a dark theme. And I'll tell you what, I do enjoy a game with a dark theme because I'm having a good time. I'm hanging out with my friends. I'm playing games. I'm doing it to have fun. I'm not going to play a game if I'm not having fun doing it. I mean, that was a really interesting game. I was fascinated by that game, but if I didn't have fun playing it, I'm not going to really want to play it again. And unless it's like a real weird oddity or something unique, I'm not going to want to add it to my collection because, I do like having games in my collection that maybe I will only play once every few years. I'm not above that, but I've got to like it. I've got to have fun playing it. But yeah, man, Black Orchestra is so good. I mean, basically you're trying to assassinate Hitler. It's a dark theme, I guess you're technically good guys though, right? But yeah, it's a really dark theme. It kind of walks you through some historical events. It's all based on actual plots to like kill Hitler. And yeah, it's really good. It's oof. And that board just is very consistent with the art style throughout the game. And again, it's a functional board. There's lots of rules referenced right there at the bottom of the board. And it just walks you through really well. So
I'm not going to lie, Tim, just the look of that board doesn't stand out to me.
Oh, yeah. I get it.
The look doesn't.
But I just feel like we are planning, we're in a dark room and we're planning secretly, how, we're trying to figure out how to pull off this thing. And yes, David, it has historical people. You can also, some of the more notorious generals are also moving around, which makes it difficult in locations to be in certain locations. It's really good. It's really good. I could open up the box and look. I know they've got the one-eyed guy that that Tom Cruise was supposed to be in Valkyrie, because that movie was about a plot to kill Hitler that obviously failed.
Yeah.
But I don't remember all of the people's names in it because it's been a minute since I cracked it open. But yeah, it's a great game.
Okay. That's one I haven't played. All right. So my number 8, totally called out by Ginger Scholar, and certainly not because of the looks. It is just because of the puzzle available to you, because one of my favorite games is Castles of Burgundy.
Oh,
And this is just, yeah, I know it's ugly. I know, but just the puzzle here, okay? So you got to start with a castle. And so you drop that castle, say here. Well, now that means you got 2 dice to roll. Well, you got to pick up either a blue, a silver, or a yellow, because then you have to roll. If you got a yellow, you got to roll a 5 to place it, or a 4 to place the gray. And see, that is the constant puzzle of Castles of Burgundy, is trying to roll the dice that allow you, because you got a main central board you're picking up these tiles from, but then you only have storage for 3 of them, so you're limited. You can't just have all these just sitting there, but you can't pull them from the board directly onto your player board. You got to store them, then you got to place them from your storage. Yeah, that's just the fun, amazing tactical puzzle that is Castles of Burgundy. It is very ugly. It's like, it's not like I don't hate it because I love the game. I can see why people hate it. I actually think the iconography is excellent. And I might be in the minority here, but when they refresh the iconography that for a new game, as a player that's played this over 300 times online and probably 20-ish times in person, new iconography for a game I just instinctively know very, very well sort of is like, I got to relearn a part of a game I just, it's one of the games I know the most. Like, I don't need the rules to teach someone, one of those games. So, but I just like the puzzle. I like the puzzle of that board, and that's why it's one of my favorites for sure.
Hey, I'm gonna holler at Jonathan real quick. I think Concordia. My only complaint about Concordia's art is just the box art. I think that board is fine.
Yeah,
I think the board doesn't stand out to me as like amazing or beautiful, but it's great. It does everything you need it to do. Yeah. I like the feeling of that map and everything. It's not on my list, but I would never call it ugly. Now that box cover, not great. Not
just
grabbing.
Doesn't help. Yeah, but just doesn't help sell the game.
Right. Does not.
So, all right, there you go. My once again functional player board of Castles of Burgundy. Number 7.
All right, my number 7 is a game that is just beautiful from the box art down to every single bit of card art. And that does not exclude the board, but I also find the board beautiful and functional. Uh-oh, Mike, are you all right?
Yeah, at first I thought he was talking about bowling. Oh. Like, that would be a terrible last frame. No, I think my high score is like a 260 something. 290 is insane. That's just people letting you have all the farm tiles.
And Trevor, anyway. You're exactly right. You show your buddies the box art to Concordia. They're like, nah, I don't want to play that. You show your friends the box art to Abyss.
Great choice. Baby. Great choice.
This is a beautiful game. And the game is great. The board does everything it needs to do, where you've got your different, houses represented here. You've got the push your luck, or for the down here, and then you got the pearls and the pearl, where you're going to buy the stuff. It's just, I love this game. It's a great game. It's older now, so I think it's kind of fallen by the wayside as far as people like being aware of it. But man, it is such a good game, and the board isn't just beautiful; it's useful. I love it. I love how you interact with it as part of the game, and that in Concordia to them is a game about trading in the Mediterranean. Well, may I present to you Abyss, which is trading under the Mediterranean. No?
Well done.
No, I mean, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's seawater. So sure. But yeah, man, Abyss, Abyss is my number 7. It's pretty groovy. I love that game.
Nice. All right, my number 7 is Concordia. No, I keep that game in the salsa box. Doesn't help. Doesn't make it worse, at least. It is better, but it still doesn't help sell the game. You're like, oh, look at that guy holding a bunch of salt in his hand. Awesome, neat. Yeah, Abyss is gorgeous. That was an honorable mention for me, Tim. Well done.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Yeah, in that box. Oh my gosh, all variations. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't have this game. I don't own this game. It was one of my most played games of last year, though, and both boards are amazing. But give me the track boards for Planet Unknown. They're triple layered, first of all. So you've got everybody plays the neutral side where all tracks are the same, or you flip it over and everybody's got totally asymmetric tracks. And again, this is just a polyomino game with simultaneous play. You pick a tile, place it on your board. It's got 2 colors on it. You move up 2 different tracks, and each track has bonuses as you go up it. And just the bonuses, I love tracks, first of all. I love asymmetry. And man, I love the tracks in Player Unknown. And everyone plays so differently, especially when you pair them with different planet boards that play differently. There are so many combos to explore in Player Unknown. It's a fantastic game. It's my go-to game at 6 players. And I love those track boards. That is truly what makes the game for me. And everyone plays so different. Oh, so many combos. Gosh. Yeah. Love. I keep gushing about Planet Unknown, maybe because I don't have it and I'm bitter about it. But it'll come back, or I'll maybe find a used copy. I don't know. I love that game. It's really, really good.
It is. It is good. It is good.
Functionality again. I'm sorry, guys. None of these are really that beautiful.
Oh, so David,
cool boards.
Just so you know, there was like 3 or 4 of them that I almost put on my list, and I didn't because we
Neither.
And it would have been fine if Mike did. I wouldn't give him a hard time because Mike's list is Mike's list. But the one thing we did say was no modular stuff, right? So no like tiles that make up a board.
Correct. But I didn't think of a binder, I guess.
Oh man, I did, and I was like, oh, I don't know. David, you're right though. There's so many good ones.
I would have allowed it.
Like pick a Ryan Lockett game with because if it's got Ryan Lockett art, it's amazing, and it's also functional, super cool. Stuffed Fables is a really good one. My Father's Work is excellent for that. So
yeah,
seeing that? Yeah,
the binders are great, and yeah, thanks, man. You must have heard the second pour. I'm on to it. This Elijah Craig small batch, very, very solid. I'm impressed. Yeah, pretty solid.
And let's just holler at Nix real quick. Welcome, man. Nix is a regular. Good to see you. Glad you're here. So, all right, let's go to another. Yeah, David, we could almost do like I don't know if I could do a top 10 with spiral maps.
Yeah, I know of a few,
but
I want more of them though.
It's a great idea. It gives you so many options. It's
super cool.
Yeah, it's great. I'll stop gushing about it.
Good, because now we can go to 6.
Okay, so my number 6 is the only other player board on my list. Even though I do have one game that the main board has player boards that could also be, it would be like an honorable mention, but I'll get there when I get there. But my number 6 is the Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea player board. Because technically the board to this game is modular because you're going to put down those tiles and you put down a tile for every player, right? And they can line up however they line up.
Oh, I forgot about that. It doesn't look that way when it's all set up.
No, it's just this big, beautiful world map. But the player boards are so cool and they have so much information and just different things you can do. I just grabbed the elves one, but really I don't care. Give me any player board. I'm happy to be playing this game. I just love all the different things that this game does, and it lays stuff out. It's got a bunch of very pertinent information. It tells you what can be played where. It's got a spot for your spells, and it tells you about your spells and how they work. It tells you, you track your resources on your board. You've got your stats for all your dudes on your board. It is so useful. It is so useful, and it just looks good. This game is sick. I love this game so much. I just don't care about most Tiny Epic games. Not that they're bad. I don't get as riled up about them as I do Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, which is ironic, right? Because this is their one not Tiny Epic game. This is just Epic Game from Gameland Games. But man, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea has fantastic player boards. I love it. And there's a ton of them to choose from, especially if you've got everything for it like I do. There's so many choices. But yeah, it's a fantastic game. The player boards, they're great. When I was thinking about player boards, I was like, that's a go-to for me. So
I've owned and sold 4 Tiny Epic games, Tiny Epic Galaxy being my favorite. Still have Tiny Epic Western, just holding on to it because I still think the poker worker placement idea is cool. But begged Tim to play Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Said it was one of his favorite games. Continued to beg him. Finally played it last year and put it in my 30s after one play. The game is so awesome. You were just making me jealous. I don't own it, but I know I can play your copy. Can we play it again this year? Can we just make an agreement to play it once a year?
Yes. Yes.
Can we just play that game every year?
Oh my God.
Just once, please.
But only 4 players. I don't want to play like too many players and drag it down. 4 players max.
Good with that. Good with that. Game is awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
It's gonna get in my 20s when we play it again. Might jump into my teens. Anyway. Okay. My number 6. Own this game. Love this game. We're going to talk about functionality, but as an afterthought to the art because it's Wonderland's War. The board is huge and beautiful. I just love the color palette and the arrangement of this gigantic table hog of a board. Oh my gosh, all those little territories around the edge, you're fighting these battles around the edge, so you got to place your supporters into these territories. I actually like that it's a big board because when you're playing with 4 or 5, you got a lot of figures on that board. And the way they teach you to play it in the rule book is everybody kind of puts all their dudes in one sort of corner of a territory. You need a lot of room in those territories for all those supporters. And it's like you're setting it up and you're like, that's a gigantic board. But then you play it and you're like, you never hear anybody say, oh, this board's too big when you play it. You don't.
No.
Because all the territories are super beautiful and totally different colors, bright colors. And one thing I love is that one of the more fun parts of the game for me personally is the tea party and the way that feels like a centerpiece in the board. Yes.
It's like a centerpiece of the game.
It is.
Yes. And so like it's strangely coherent in that way. Not that it's incoherent, but you know what I mean? Like it's just like central. Right. That is such a key part of the game and everything else is sort of the outlier. And, like to win, because how you do in the tea party is really going to affect how you do the rest of the game. And the choices you make in that tea party are so important. And it's smack dab in the middle of the board.
And the deck fits right there on the table. You can fit all the madness shards right in the middle of the table too. And the art of the table and like,
it looks good. It looks good.
Dude, I love that. I love that board. I really do. It's functional and it's huge and it's colorful and just, man, it just pops when it's on the table. I could have pushed this up so much higher. I really could have.
So Hop was saying he's wondering if some specific games are going to show up. So Hop, when we get down to after we're done with our number ones, I want to hear what games we're going to ask you guys, what games do we miss? What should have been on our list or what's on your list? But I'm going to be interested to see what they are and also ping them. Let us know if we hit one that you are thinking of.
The board, the art, the color scheme for Wonderland's War, my goodness. Love every bit of it. Okay, 5.
Oh, baby. Man, man, oh, man. All right, I'm going to go with this one. This is one of my all-time favorite games. Friend of the show, Glenn Drover.
Oh. Ooh, I know what this is. Yeah. Yeah.
Empire Age of Discovery. You've got
Feel free to just dump it on us if you can't wait. Just dump your guesses out whenever.
Oh
Great
my gosh.
choice.
I just love this game. I love the way that it works. I love that on the whole one side is where you're placing your workers, you know, to then assign them to do stuff. I just love the way that this whole game plays. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite games. And the board is great. I just love the feeling of the board, you know, like it just looks like an old-time map, you know, and we're these explorers and we're just plotting our courses and where we're going to go and what, you know, what kind of resources we're trying to get, you know, it's just such a good board. I love it. I love the theme and the style of this game. And sure, colonization is problematic. I get it. But I look at this as like an exploration game and I thoroughly enjoy it. And
yeah, I don't think, you know, I don't think Tim has to apologize for the explanation theme. It's a part of history. Yeah.
Oh, and Andrew, I just might, except that polygamy is not allowed in Indiana, so I just have to be married to my wife, and that's fine
true.
too.
And he's Andrew.
And he's Andrew.
You missed the intro, dude. Where were you? You're like 47 minutes late for your intro duties, Andrew. What the heck?
Yeah.
Gosh.
He's almost as bad as Andrew Warner, who will probably be here in about 15 minutes.
Good call. And he was supposed to be on. No, that's not true.
All right, Mike, what do you got for your number 5?
All right. So this is another game I own. It actually usually sits in the shelf behind me. I was going to grab it, pull it out, but another game where the board's at the bottom. I'm not digging. Sorry. Functionality overlooks Smartphone Inc.
Oh,
This is a fully double layered board. And I know it's just white and light blue. Those are the only colors on the board. There's some red. But it's super functional. A dual layered board with just clean lines between each territories, a slot for every player's token on the scoring track.
Yeah.
It's or not the scoring track, but the territories,
Yeah,
the cities that you're placing out. The technologies at the bottom that are modular, you can swap out, and you have totally different combos of 4G technology or that NFT technology. You can, and those are double layered, so those pop out and stick in the board. And I actually just love the track at the top of that board, because that's why this game is so elegant. You're like, okay, you put that cube up at the top, you just slide through the actions, and it just flows so quickly. And it's like you're sitting there, you're like, you explain the game, and it's like it just clicks, and you're like, oh great, I got a plan. And how about those planning boards, Tim? How about those planning boards? Oh my goodness, those planning boards are just yes, they are.
But
yes, they
so
are.
good.
But they're
so
boards.
Action
They're boards.
crafting.
And everybody's boards are exactly the same. You have the exact same 2 boards.
Mhm.
You get to add stuff to them. But man, the way you plan those actions, I freaking love Smartphone Inc., man. It's a top 10 game for me. I think it's a genius design. It's so elegant. I love this economic game.
Andrew F has a question for you though, because you love Smartphone Inc., right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, do I want to marry you?
Why don't you marry it? Yeah.
Yeah. 3D boards? You know, actually, that reminds me. The closest thing I could think of something that would be 3D-ish are the screens for Alchemists, or the screens for Deal with the Devil, same designer and publisher, Czech Games Edition. It's a bunch of boards that snap together and make a cool looking functional screen. That one in Deal with the Devil looked awesome.
Yeah. I wish the game lived up to the player board and the design and the theme, but
well, let me just tell you, and I'll continue to tell you and Dan, in case you have any doubt, Alchemists is fantastic.
I like Alchemist. I played Alchemist.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
I love that game, dude.
It's so brain burny. I just don't play.
It is.
I never bought it because Bob bought it right away, and then it's just like it's
hard to get back to the table because you got to remember how the deduction works.
And it's not like a casual game, you know.
No,
like you gotta. You're gonna sit down and dig in.
I love how you can bluff though, because the game pushes you to publish a theory before you actually know 100%. You're like, I think that's right. I love that. And then you got to convince everybody else you're super confident. I love that part of it. It's a crunchy game that adds that tiny little bluffing aspect. It's genius.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Anyway, that's not a board. I thought about it. It's boards that fold up, connect together. That's what made me think of the 3D thing there, David. So anyway,
smartphone.
That was my number 5. So let's skip to 4.
Oh my goodness.
I just realized Jonathan, aka Ginger Scholar, will thoroughly enjoy my number 4.
All right. Oh yeah, dude, David, the Queen's Gambit. The yes, does have a 3D board. I've never played it, only seen it, man. Okay, so this game I love because it immerses me in a theme that is similar to one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Raiders of the Lost Ark. No, this is not Lost Ruins of Arnak. Get out of here. This is the Flying Frog classic, Fortune and Glory, kid. Fortune and Glory, which is technically a quote from Temple of Doom, the second worst Indiana Jones movie. But, you know, we're not worried about that. It's still a great line. Anyways, this big, beautiful, glossy world map. And you're going around, you're fighting bad guys. Maybe you are the bad guys. I love this game. It's tons of fun. I haven't played it in ages, but this is a game I'll never get rid of. The board and the map are beautiful. And again, who doesn't want to be, an archaeologist gallivanting across the globe for Fortune and Glory? It's great. It's great.
Good pick. I think that was not that it makes it a bad pick. One of the more obvious picks because of how good it looks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful.
Nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Okay. So my number 4, another game I don't own. We recently filmed a review for it, which should be out in the next week. And it's again the functionality of the board for Terracotta Army.
Oh
man, this is a cool board, and that's because you've got one of those little spinner systems where you activate your workers. You're going to place a worker down, and then you're going to activate the inner ring. Then you activate the middle ring. Then you activate the outer ring. The outer ring is the only one that's stagnant. The other 2 rotate in opposite directions at the end of every round. You can also pay money to move one of them before your turn. And so, that's just so cool because you're always going to get 3 actions out of every worker. And what that does is constantly changing because people are always paying money to move that thing around. You think you got your turn planned out, then somebody moves the wheel again. You're like, no, I'm going to move this one then. And that battle of constantly fluxing worker placement outputs is really, really well done in Terracotta Army. Not to mention that you've got this like 8x8 grid you're building on in I don't know what to call this mechanic, but I keep using this term, which is placement adjacency rules, like Lords of Vegas has, like Foundations of Rome has, where I place stuff next to this guy and that gives me points type stuff. Yeah, it's a really cool worker placement game. Stay tuned for our review for my score. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But yeah, the functionality and the intertwining. Another board that does this, I actually like Terracotta Terracotta Army better, and I already had a Feld game on my list, as you would expect. Merlin. Merlin is another fantastic Feld game where you've got 2 dials you can move and placing the worker on there. So almost a similar mechanic. Check that one out if you like the Terracotta Army placement mechanic. But I actually like Terracotta Army better than Merlin, so that's why I picked that one.
Nice.
So yeah, I like that mechanic. My complaint, and I addressed this in the review, and I'll just go ahead and say it: that constant changing, AP inducing. You want to plan your turn, but it just what you're trying to get out of a spot changes on every person's turn. Because once you get money, everybody's changing that wheel. So the more people are in there, the more that wheel's changing. It's hard to plan ahead when that's going on constantly, but it's really cool. Anyway, so there you go. Wow. Top 3.
All right, so my number 3 also has personal player boards, which are miniature versions of the main board. So I could have grabbed one of those boards, but I didn't. I grabbed the main board. This is from Matago Games. This is a game that I just wish more people knew about, and I love it so much. It is Treasure Island.
Ooh.
So you've got this massive board. You know, one player is Long John Silver. They're picking a spot on this board where they've buried their treasure, and everybody
Is it Hush
else.
Puppies?
Yeah, it is Hush Puppies. But then you also get some fish planks too, or whatever they call them. But here's the thing: is you could use the other side of the board, which looks like a sepia toned like map. So you've got this as well. And this beauty, this game is so much fun. It's wild. It's
shiny
rollicking.
that is.
Oh, I know. It's really high quality. It's really well made. But yeah, Treasure Island's a really good game. I enjoy quite a bit. It can play fast. It could take like an hour. Just depends on how good or bad or unlucky old Long John is. And there's some bluffing too, because people are going to ask for clues, and Long John's got to give them clues. But every so many turns, he can lie or bluff. Well, he can bluff. Doesn't mean he's lying, but he could be lying. It's so good. It's so good. He just means he has the option to lie. So you're going to get a piece of information every few turns that you just don't know if they're telling the truth or not. And again, so all the players have their own versions of these maps where they're tracking where they think, you know, Long John can be, you know, where they're looking and everything. It's really good. I love it. But yeah, we'll bring this up, Andrew.
Dude, I almost put that board on this list because of how much it makes the game so different from the original. That board is the game, man. Great call, Andrew. I totally agree. I didn't put it in my honorable mentions, but I was probably just going to bring it up anyway. Yeah, that Splinter dual board is it's a mechanic on its own. I like that. Tim forgot one.
I did. Yeah, David, kind of like a pirate themed Scotland Yard. I haven't played Scotland Yard, but I'm aware of it. So in Scotland Yard, after a certain amount of turns, does the criminal escape and then have to run to the treasure and get there before everybody else? Because that's what old Long John's got to do. I haven't seen the new Twilight Struggle yet. So board and box, that's a good question. So I guess technically, no, I have no thoughts on it. Other than I'm interested in seeing it.
I haven't looked into it yet either. Hop wants to know what you forgot, Tim.
Well, so Twilight Struggle reminded me the player boards, which I guess technically are modular, maybe. The player boards for Twilight Inscription. Oh my God. They are
honorable
beautiful.
mention. They're amazing.
They are so beautiful. I love them. I love the whole art design of that game. The whole game is played right there on your player board.
It's 4 different puzzles.
Oh, it's so good.
It's
so good.
You got to play Hadrian's Wall, though, sir. Telling you. Telling you. Okay. Wow. Yeah, Twilight Twilight Inscription. That's a good one. I almost went there. Almost.
I've
It's
got one other honorable mention, but I left it off because it's the only game on my list I don't own. But I won't say what it is yet, just in case it ends up on Mike's list.
This one just surprised me. Like I started by going through every game I've ever played. That's how I start every list. Just go, I start by the obvious, like, okay, here's the one I'm thinking of. Here's the one.
Mhm.
Then I go through stuff I've played. And as soon as I came across this one, I just thought about the actual board itself. And I love the way it's drawn. And that's the 1000% the reason I picked Root. I love the way the Root board is drawn. It doesn't have hexes. It doesn't have squares. It doesn't even draw territories. They're just clearings they're just paths along a little dirt road in the woods, between the trees. And then there's a clearing in the trees, and that's a territory. I love that. And that game is so incredibly thematic. The last time I played Root, I was really getting into it, and I want to play it again. It takes so much to get into. But man, last time I found the faction for me. I'm one of those people who wants to play a new faction every time I play a game, but because I know the depth of playing Root, you got to know how to play your faction. Those River Otters, they're the salesmen. They're trying to figure out how much they can sell power cards to the other factions for. So you're constantly trying to figure out what other players are doing. Then you pick the price on the cards and their special action cards that other players buy from you. And so they're like paying you for them. And that becomes like more stuff you can do. Oh, dude. I had so much fun playing with the River Otter faction last time. And I just love the way I don't necessarily love the character art. I'll be honest. It's okay. I love the way the world is drawn on the map. You don't need hexes for a territory control game. Just clearings in the woods. Incredible. I love the drawing of the boards.
And David, Mike definitely meant Hadrian's Wall, because we were talking about Rolling Rights that are basically similar.
Well, Willie, welcome to the yes, I'll come back to David. Sorry. Willie, welcome to the channel, by the way. Don't think I've seen you in our live chats before. I usually remember that stuff. If I'm wrong, tell me.
Yeah, I haven't seen him before either. So thanks for coming, man. Good to have you.
Scythe, I talk about in every video, dude. It's a top 3 game for me. I still love it. I love the Easter eggs. I love the art. I love the dual layer player boards. But because I talk about it so much, I left it as an honorable mention to save for later.
Just wait till you see Forges of Ravenshire
with you.
With the Easter eggs on that board too. Forges
talk about really Easter eggs. You're right. Yeah. But yes, sir. Loch Ness Monster, Thor, and Mjolnir, Little Red Riding Hood. So many Easter eggs. I love the Scythe board. I'm totally with you. I will only play it with the modular boards now, though. By the way.
And Mind Management also has some great Easter eggs. Ooh. But I know that's a game that I'm always like on about. It's not on my list.
He left it off his list. But yeah, we kind of try to talk about different stuff every video. We catch ourselves like, oh, I'm going to use Scythe for best art. Oh, I'm going to use Scythe for best board. Oh, I'm going to use it for favorite mechanic. Like, dang it, I got to stop talking about it.
My number 2 is one I talk about all the time, but I got to.
I haven't played Raiders of Scythia yet.
I haven't.
Same artist.
Okay.
But man, I loved Hadrian's Wall. I put Twilight Inscription after 2 plays last year and like maybe 25 in my top 50. But then I played Hadrian's Wall for the first time a month ago, and I think it's better. The combos are just woo. I love just chain reaction combos in games, and Hadrian's Wall just dumps them on you. I love that. Okay, anywho. Side tangent aside, we move to number 2.
So, my number 2 is a game that I talk about all the time, and I don't care because this has one of the most beautiful boards of any game that I have ever played. I love it. I'm going to give you a little clue right here. Well, look at this. Look at this. Give you a little. Look at this. It's shiny. You see the water is shiny on here. This is Court of the Dead Mourner's Call. This is the game that nobody knows about. Nobody's played. But man, holy smokes. This board is massive. It's like to like open it all the way up. It's huge. It's huge.
I'm glad you keep talking. You're the only one I know that talks about this game, and I'm glad you do because it looks awesome.
Oh, dude, it's great. You've got tracks on the side that you need to keep track of. You've got area control down here at the bottom, which is going to give you extra units and workers down there. It's just super cool. It's a fantastic game. The board really does represent like the underworld and the different sections of the underworld and oh, it's so pretty. I love this game. And Andrew, yes, add this to the list of games that I'm going to marry. Should either my wife become super smart and decide to leave me all of a sudden, you know.
Tim is the Mormon of board games. He's got at least 75 board game wives.
Yeah, so many board game wives. And by board game wives, it just means board games that I would marry because I love them.
Yes.
Let's just be totally clear.
Which also is the same number of tens he gives out. Anyway, moving on.
Hey, your lucky code names couldn't be on here. Just messing with you.
Nice.
I had to give that one to Mike. All right, Mike. What's your number 2 when you're done?
Okay,
coughing?
my number 2 totally is art. I definitely have a thing for like these pastel colors and these bright colors that are just vibrant. Tim hooked it up earlier. I didn't want to dig it out of the box. Somebody, I think it was Trevor. Was it Jeff Nagel, Mr. Voodoo Spectre? Somebody busted me out on this. It's Rising Sun. I love the look of this board. The look alone. Man, I'm sorry your camera is not doing the colors on that board justice.
I know.
I'm sorry, guys. I swear if I could give you a good high-quality image of the Rising Sun board, I will soon. I swear. We're upgrading our live stream soon, folks. I promise you that. But, oh, man. It's the bright colors, the yellows and the bright green and like a red and then like a baby blue. Oh, dude, the colors pop on that board. My goodness. And all the Adrian Smith art in that rule book and on the cards, dude, just kills it. The look of Rising Sun. Woo-hoo-hoo. Man, one of my favorite games to look at of all time. And the board is one of the main reasons. So I could have made it my 1, but I'm kind of going with a surprise pick at 1 that I don't know if anybody's thinking about. So there you go, Rising Sun. It's a game that I'm not very good at, and I want to be better because I think it would make me enjoy it more. My last experience was with the Moon Clan, and they're hard to play, and I got trounced, and it wasn't fun because I couldn't do a lot, and I scored so low. But I love all the things this game has to offer. Need to play again. Love this trilogy. Me and Tim talk about it all the time. No surprise one of these games made this list. It is the prettiest one in my opinion.
It's the best looking board out of all 3 of those games. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And the Ankh board's pretty, but not enough to make this list. And I was only going to pick 1. So there you go. Appreciate it, man. We got one more for you. We're going for our best board right now.
One of the first games I played with dials in the board. No, it's not Chaos in the Old World. It is the OG, the infamous Battlestar Galactica board.
Wow.
You've got the dials on the top. You've got the Cylon locations. You've got the different locations on the ship that you're moving around as you're trying to,
we got things. You, Bob. Hold up. We got you.
You're going to do things, you got the ships popping in the different quadrants, you got to fight off the Cylons. It is so damn good. The board is great. The game is great. I know I'm a big proponent of Unfathomable, and loosely, it does everything, or it does a lot of things very similar. It is a Cthulhu theme, blah blah blah. You know, you can paste that on whatever, and they do a great job. But Unfathomable is affordable. I would recommend. I love buying games. I love collecting games and cultivating that collection. But I hate seeing people get gouged, right? Because they're just like, they got that FOMO, you know? So I try not to like talk about BSG too much because yeah, it's a great game, but I'd hate for somebody to feel like they've got to spend $300, $400, $500, you know, on a game when you can play a different version of it and get the same, you know, a very similar experience. But man, BSG, the board just, it came first. It did it first. It is one of the best board games based on like a TV show or movie IP. I mean, just hands down, it totally captures it. And it's just great. I don't always love games where they just use like photos from the show as like the art, but it works. I don't care. I'm in. I think it's because like Sci-Fi Channel has like that cheesy, cheap, you know, like BBC, Doctor Who kind of feel to it anyways. And so it just kind of brings all of that to that game for me still. So Battlestar Galactica has one of the best boards in my opinion. I love it. I think it's great. And yeah, had to talk about BSG on here. So Mike, everybody's going to want to know.
Well, I don't have a visual aid. This is the only game that I have sold that I want to reacquire. And I've sold about 50 games, and none of those I regret. There is one. It has a great looking board, but again, my big thing with a lot of stuff is many things I buy are functional over form. But when you can combine those two, and that is why the Tzolk'in board is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Interlocking gears that are timed worker placement, locations that you can determine what round to pull them and get the benefit. Incredible concept. And it is so cool to look at, especially if people have painted them. Oh my gosh, painted Tzolk'in boards are just... Dude, I love looking at people's painted Tzolk'in boards. They're so individual.
Works of art.
Yes. And I'm just a big fan of the Tzolk'in in general. I've got one in storage that I hung up many years ago and could probably hang up again. I like the look of the Tzolk'in calendar itself. They made it into a game that functions as a timed worker placement mechanic. It's just so cool, man. Like nothing... that game's 10 years old now. Mm-hmm. I still just don't think I've seen anything like that game. And it's the board that's also a mechanic. And the colors pop, too. They really do. The colors pop. Man, Tzolk'in's a good game. It runs a bit long, but my goodness, it's whew. Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew.
Painted Tzolk'in boards. Look at painted Tzolk'in gears, dude. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
My sister painted her board and it looks great. It looks so good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Tzolk'in. I think of the Tzolk'in rotation thing very separately from Terracotta Army and Merlin, because of the way it works. They're not like, you know, I place this guy and I get these three things and I can move the gears to make those things. I'm putting this guy here. He's going to rotate and I'll decide when to take him off, but he's only going to get an increasing variety of options. And every gear gives you different resources that are an increasing amount the longer you wait to pull them. I gotta just reacquire Tzolk'in. Do you have it, Tim?
No, I don't.
Bob's never played it. Oh my gosh, guys. Holy crap. I need to rebuy Tzolk'in. I'm going to rebuy a game for the first time. Dude, I'm telling you, it's good. It's a good game.
You know what's crazy is I also, as an honorable mention, had I've never said the name of the Teotihuacan.
Yeah, Teotihuacan.
Teotihuacan. That I love that board. I feel like just the vibe and the aesthetic of it is so good, and then just the way that you move around that board is so interesting.
Same designer,
Yeah, yeah.
Daniel Tassini.
They're just like hand in hand for me, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Zolkin was like my very first honorable mention. The only reason it's not even on my list is because it's the only game on here I didn't own. That wasn't like a discussed, hey, we're gonna do this, but I just personally decided I'm just gonna try to do games I own. But yeah, Zolkin looks amazing. Some of these other ones
I also tend to
I haven't played some of these other ones. Underwater Cities is pretty good.
Yeah, the Underwater Cities board is cool. I made a trade with Tim and acquired that game. He still needs to teach me. I'm going to force that to happen rather than spend time in the rule book. But having not played it, not included. Yes. Okay, Bob. So Tim, you want to hit Bob with our rundown?
Oh my
All
gosh.
10 or everybody?
I don't have them written down. I just went through my stack of boards, but yeah, I can do it in no particular order. So I got Battlestar Galactica. I had Mourner's Call, Court of the Dead. I have Treasure Island. I have Fortune and Glory. I have Age of Empire, or Empire's Age of Discovery, excuse me. I have Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Abyss, which is fantastic. Black Orchestra is on here because I love the board, and like again the functionality of it tells you how to play the game. King of Tokyo, the Dark Edition, and the Role Player boards. Those are mine. Actually got in order because I had them stuck up.
So since you went 1 to 10, I'll do the same. 1, Zolkin. 2, Rising Sun. 3, Root. 4, Terracotta Army. 5, Smartphone Inc., Bob. Yes. And also because of the planning player boards. Those are boards. 6, Wonderlands War. Yes, sir. 7, Planet Unknown, the track boards specifically, but combine them with the planet boards for combos. 8, Castles of Burgundy player board. It's its own puzzle. 9, the PAX Premier 2nd Edition cloth board. Nothing like it. And number 10 was Wayfarers of South Tigris, which has an awesome main board and a very cool player board that you can customize. Tim, let's hit some honorable mentions because I still got some good ones to talk about if you want.
Yeah, man, we can do that, and then we can get into our little game because we haven't done our game proper in a while because we've been going so long with our lists. But yeah,
you talking about game design?
Yeah,
impromptu game design. Maybe we'll see.
Hey, Mike, I had an idea.
It funky tonight.
I had an idea though while you were talking about Planet Unknown, and you want to talk about like a crazy asymmetric player power you could add to that game. You better put on a hat, Mike, so you can hold the F onto it because I'm gonna blow you away with this one. What about a player power in Planet Unknown where you pay to then rotate the tray one way or the other, one space after it's been set? Dude, and you've got to give the person who is first player the points or whatever you pay on whatever track you have to move down. We're talking. Right?
I'm listening. Yeah. I'm listening.
Yes.
Willie, I like terraforming Mars more than the other guys do. I do like that board as well. I do like the board. I do.
I like Terraforming Mars a lot. I just prefer to play it solo because it plays faster.
It's in my top 50. I'm the only one.
And it's really challenging. It's really challenging to play solo. I enjoy it.
Okay. Honorable mentions?
Yeah, go for it.
War of Whispers. 1, it's round.
A round board.
2, the way you put a worker here, and then if there's no other workers here, you're going to get all the stuff from all those spots.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody puts a worker here, they get all the stuff from those spots. So cool. And the way the territories are just slightly different in each section. War Whispers board. Very cool. Honorable mention Scythe. I just talk about the game so much. I love the art. I love the Easter eggs. I like how everything is drawn. I like Jacob's art in that world tremendously. I just talk about the game so much. I love Scythe. Yeah, Twilight Inscription was one.
Yes.
I mean, legitimately, Forges of Ravenshire is one. We used it in our nude section, but it is hitting Kickstarter in a month, and it is a great dice placement game. The Easter eggs on the board are cool. The board is very clear iconography. The player boards unfold, and they have slots to grab those guild tokens. Love it. And another one that is releasing to backers this year from our buddies, Hike It, the backpacking board game. Yes, I'm going to talk about this game because I have hiked the Smoky Mountains, and this is a game about hiking the Smoky Mountains. And it's done to scale by a cartographer. I love maps. I have globes in my basement. Mike, how much do you like maps? I just have globes throughout my basement and my house. I just like traveling and hiking and seeing the world, and a real size, true to life board with all of the scenery of the Smoky Mountains. I'm sorry, the Hike It board. I love that board, and it's a game that's not out yet. So anyway, there you go. That was my last honorable mention.
So the other couple of honorable mentions I'll throw in is if you got the Rampage or Terror in Meeple City board, but it's built up and you could see it, not just the board proper. I wasn't on my list because you need to have the 3D aspect to it. That's a great looking board when you got it going. I also, what do you think about the, oh yeah, there he goes. And no, David, I wish Hike It was a football game.
Good call,
but actually, CJ Swing, the designer, is working on a football game, isn't he?
He is. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Pigskin football.
And
I can't wait.
Andrew, yes, Mike's basement has many books and smells of mahogany. That's how sophisticated it is.
Among other things.
Yeah, that's true. But it depends on what day of the week it is. Another board that I'm going to call this a board, but I left it off my list because it's kind of a gray area, is the Dice Miner board, the mountain where you draft your dice from.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so cool. I love the way it's such a simple and fun game, but I love the way that little mountain works, and if you count that as a board, I think it's fantastic.
I didn't, but I'll allow it.
I mean, it's an honorable mention. It's not on the actual list, so I'm okay.
That's a good one. Yeah, good choices, man. I think we did hit some really solid picks tonight, and the people in the chat seem to agree. We had a good variety of looks and functionality and big epic. Came together really well.
Yeah, David, I haven't played Tumbling Dice, but I'll have to look that up and see. But again, right? The awesome thing about doing these live is I get to see all of y'all's comments, and then it's like, okay, I need to look at that. I need to go look at that. Like I'm making a checklist for later.
We do, yeah.
Of all the good things I need to look up and see.
Yeah, we don't. I certainly don't claim to be an expert. There's a lot of what. Yeah, Bob. I that one came to mind. Up close, I think it's good to look at. From a distance, it looks a bit plain, but it is very functional compared to that original board. Totally agree with that. Hop, thanks again for coming up with this topic. I remember when you mentioned it the first time, and I couldn't remember who it was, but I wrote it freaking down. This is my list from 2 or 3 weeks ago when you mentioned it, and I wrote it down and underlined it, dude. So yeah, that turned into what you saw tonight. So props to you for coming up with a fantastic topic suggestion. I was we were really happy to be able to finally do this one. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I don't care. I'll talk about anything board games, but yeah, it was a good one. We were excited to do it, and it forced me to. I mean, I try to be creative with my list, anyways. But like, okay, like what can I put on this list? What's gonna not be the obvious choice? Sure, there might be a few obvious choices on there, right? Like we could all have Scythe on our list. Scythe is totally worthy of any fantastic looking game board. But we, Mike and I are trying to just talk about more than the same 10 games all the time. So
I know there could be crossover from our own list between like every top 10 if we wanted, and that's just not as fun.
Right. No, I'd rather cover more games and everything.
As a top 10 board game list curator, that is an excellent question. We're always trying to find creative ideas for top 10 lists because we try to do one every Wednesday. We're going to get soon back into filming studio top 10s. We had a lot of review stuff to kind of knock out, and we did a large chunk of that the last few weekends, which feels really good. So Tim and I are definitely we're back to building up a studio top 10 that we can get back out to you guys real soon. And these like creative topics, like we could do top 10 worker placement games, but like we've done top 5 board game experiences last week. And then we did the top 5 worst games that we own with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've done top 5 orange components with Mike. We've really kind of gone out into left field for some of these topics, and some don't generate as many views, but they're still fun to come up with the lists and just me and Tim shooting the crap, drinking whiskey on a rock that about fun games that we like to play.
Yeah.
Any excuse to do that creatively is great. We're still curating more lists.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously if you guys got any other list ideas, top 10 ideas, keep them coming.
Post them.
Post them.
There, that live chat thing.
Hop up in the hop it's this way.
I think it's over there. Okay, it's over there. Wait, mine's mirrored. Is it that way? It's that way.
Yeah, it's that way. Ooh, David.
Or David, Bob. The guy Bob Hooper is commenting in our live chat. He doesn't get to get on our streams a whole lot, but he is colorblind. Tim knows him way longer than I have, but that's a great one. Yeah, that is a really good one. Bob, let's tag you with doing that list.
Seriously.
I don't know if anybody's ever done that list. That is a fantastic idea.
I
really like that idea.
We need to make we need to make that a Sunday studio list, because then
seriously,
Bob will be guaranteed to be there. David, that's an awesome idea. I got a question for you guys, because this came up recently, and I'm not going to go into. I'm going to leave this vague, but I do want to ask your opinion while you're watching, because this is a conversation we've been having behind the scenes for a long time. But what do you guys think about when people are reviewing a game about talking about the art? Should they mention the art? That's all I'm going to say. I'll leave it at that. Is that something that you feel like when somebody is reviewing a game that they should talk about? I personally talk about it all the time because I think it's super important.
Every time.
It doesn't ruin the game for me, but it can impede my eagerness, right, to get it to the table. Or like was mentioned earlier, the Concordia box art makes your friends not want to play it because it's not as exciting looking.
True. It's a first impression, and it's not a good first impression.
Yeah. Oh no, we did not mention Blood Rage.
I thought about it. I only picked one out of the trilogy because I love that trilogy. I got 2 of those games on my top 10. Blood Rage being one, Ankh being the other one that is in Tim and I's both of our top 10. Mm-hmm. I left it out because I had Rising Sun at 2, but that is a cool player board.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think the art, again, I can play a game with art that I don't like and still have a great time. 100%. But
Me too.
it could, it can affect, it can affect though, like Mike said, it's a first impression, whether or not you pull that game off the shelf.
It just doesn't scream one of the most amazing tactical puzzles ever created. It just doesn't.
No, it looks like, oh, is that another version of Carcassonne? But no, I don't think you have to, I don't feel my opinion. And again, right, these are all opinions. Art is totally subjective, and everybody likes different styles of art. Like there's some beautiful, board games that I don't like because some of the things don't jive with me, right? Like some of the faces in Dice Throne, the way that they draw those Marvel characters, I don't like. It does not affect my experience playing Dice Throne, right? Especially the Marvel version, which is the version that I prefer, and I've had a better time with it. But if I'm going to talk about the game, I'm going to go, I don't love these versions of these Marvel characters. And I will say that as somebody who owns way too many comic books and a bunch of comic book themed, games and stuff with great comic art. But yeah, there you go, Hop. I
don't mind it. It just, doesn't sell the game, unfortunately. I'm all in for the deluxe. Not all the extra miniatures, just the castle miniatures and everything under that. Anyway, go ahead, Tim. Because I love the game.
No, I was just curious. So, David, expand on that a little bit. What do you mean, like the dark art style? Like if it's too dark or gritty, like because I get it. Some people don't want like grisly stuff.
Or are you meaning dark King of Tokyo? Like what was your 10?
I won't take that personally.
Dark versions of games or just dark art? I honestly, Tim, and my opinions on the game. I almost threw my honorable mention should have been Merchants of the Dark Road because I like the dark style of art in that game a lot. I love the art and the components are fantastic. And how about the fact that it's magnetic and that one rondelle for the market board spins around that little magnet? Like, how did you not mention that, Tim? You like that game.
I love that game. I do.
I like dark themes of art. Like I love the Brass Birmingham board. I like dark themes and color palettes a lot for sure. But I like, we like dark themes too.
Yeah, and David, I get it, right? That's not everybody's cup of tea. No, like it doesn't bother me. Like, and again, I am a big like horror movie fan and stuff, but I've also got young kids. And so I can't be busting that stuff out with my little ones. You know what I mean? We're playing nice, Takanoko. We're playing nicer, fun, lighter, themed and everything. And I get it. I think that like anything, right? Those things have a time and a place, and it's also just not for everybody. So, hey, Hop, have a great night, man. Thanks for being here. We will see you around, and all the good vibes and positive energy to you, sir, in the world. Thanks for being here.
If you're not in our Discord, consider it. We chat games in there all the time. We get topic ideas in there too. Lots of our topics have come from our Discord, by the way.
Yeah, and David, you're right. Sometimes you can have like over the top or goofy, darker art style, and it's okay because the humor lightens it up, right? But no, I mean, like, listen, if Mike had full blown Clemens Franz, box art covers, poster size hanging on his walls, I'd be like, I'm glad you were passionate about that Agricola box art. Like it's not my favorite, but if you're passionate about it, I'm with you. Oh, listen. Oh my gosh, Willie, we were just talking about this in a private conversation earlier. Are you Alexa? Are you listening to us? Like,
he's with the FBI. Yes. I was moving a bunch of boxes and bottles around. He's with the FBI. He's definitely spying on our conversation. Works for Mark Zuckerberg. Dark and comical art. This is the perfect blend right here. Dark.
Oh.
witty. Yeah, man.
Um,
Love. And I know Tim doesn't like, this is Manny Trimbley's art. He also did the art for Marvel Dice Throne on all the Dice Throne games.
I like it better with the Alice in
That's
Wonderland.
why he does it.
It's the weird pointy chins. Yeah.
Yes. I love this art, man. I think it captures this theme so extremely well. And yeah, art is important. It's the first impression, first of all. This is one of my favorite boxes. Just this black, pink, dark purple theme sucks me into one of my favorite universes. I can't
Just
sucks
so
me in.
you know, Marianne, depending on your style or your preferred way to go, Discord is an app. I have it on my phone. I got it on my iPad. There's a link to it. It's free. It's free to use. It's just a chat, you know, a way people can
Facebook Messenger with more privacy and channels per topics.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Create a login just like you would any social media. It's free. There's no spying like that
Right.
Zuckerberg guy does. And it's, you know, inclusive. We just chat games with lots of people that you're seeing in our live chat today. Just great community of people just chatting games. It's fun.
And yeah, and you're very welcome if you know to join us there. And I get it if you don't want to download an app. That's not for everybody. Some people can do Discord via desktop. I don't because I don't have a desktop.
Should have done this earlier, but there it is. I guess that's the closest thing we get to it right there is that that gorgeous Wonderland sport. I'm sorry. Love it.
But yeah, I have
Love
Discord
the art in
on
this game.
I have Discord on my iPad. I have it on my phone. You can also use it to voice chat. We've had many a game of Dead by Daylight where we're all talking in Discord, right? We're all on the phone essentially in a group chat on Discord playing Dead by Daylight.
You can do Discord on your desktop, by the way. It's just discord.com. Same thing. You don't have to use that. I do it on my work PC. Don't tell anybody.
I didn't hear a thing. So yeah, there's
it's like
lots
Mike
of
does
options.
work at work. That's weird.
No, yeah, and like Andrew is saying in the chat, it's going to pop up in a minute. There, Mike, is we are very responsive on Discord. We're all on there all the time. Sometimes, honestly, like I'll have something to say, and then the conversation has gone so far that it's like, well, never mind. But we are in there lurking.
Mike responded 4 times already.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to just kind of hang out when we're not here on Wednesdays, you know, talking to you live. We're chatting there, and everybody, we have a very cool atmosphere there. Even when people disagree or don't like stuff, you know, the same thing. We're all very friendly. We're very respectful, and dude, I wish I was half as good to do that. But I'll tell you, Nix, you know who's really good, and he's not in the chat tonight, but Dan from the Rundown Gamer Shelter, that dude is really freaking good at Dead by Daylight. I don't know that he's Twitch streamer good, but my buddy Pete is also super good at it. And so like I usually will play when they're playing, and then I just like ride their coattails.
I need to try this game.
Mike, get on and play it with us, man. Just
cross play, right?
Oh
cross
yeah.
Platform?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. It's tons of fun. But yeah, we're trying to, you know, that grow. I think the Discord's got like 100 members, and most of them are all pretty active. We're all in there doing different things, and we share news and articles, and people share Kickstarters and things that they're interested in there. So when breaking news happens, we tend to share it there just so everybody can see.
Just got a comment in our Discord. Hey, is that somebody new? I think that's somebody new. I don't know who the Lord of Cardboard is, but hello. I just got the notification. We record on our phones. But yeah, I work at a desk. Lots of my customers like to text. Therefore, Mike's on his phone at work and in front of a computer. So yeah, if you want to chat about games, I'm usually available to do that most hours of the day.
Listen, I am running a retail store that doesn't have a manager. I'm sort of the default manager right now, and I am constantly on my phone, on my computer, between answering emails. You know what I mean? Like
Not
talking
getting
to
anything done.
talking to
Talking
sales
to
reps,
Mike about the channel.
talking to Mike about the channel, or just like a funny TikTok I saw. Listen,
Or about art and games.
Mike and I are constantly trying to brighten each other's days, and we both do a very good job at it. So,
well,
but
a lot of things you could have said there about my constant messaging, but you chose a
Listen.
positive one.
listen, man, I'm all about positivity. You know me. You know me.
Me as well. Hey, I picked Zig Ziglar as the guy I want to play board games with, and that guy's all about mental positivity. So
That was another list. You're
that's my
talking about
motto.
old lists we did. Top 10 people you want to play board games with.
That was fun.
That was a fun list. And I know I had some weird oddball ones in there, but I
Oh.
don't care. It was a great
I was the one that had people in their comments afterwards like, yeah, I liked all of them except for the athletes. And I was like,
Right.
I picked 3 specifically, but 11 if you include all the Indiana Pacers I wanted to play Ready Set Bet with. What can I say? Look around me. I have very sports. Yeah, that's me. So, all right, here's a funny thing. Now that we're closing in on our dawning hour, Tim. It's funny. We're at hour 40, and it feels like I don't know. Anyway, so last week we had a guest designer on. Hello.
Hey, Malik, welcome, sir.
Sing Stand By Me. Where is this coming from? I do sing, by the way. Probably could, but that one off the bat, there's no certain lyrics I know. I've been practicing a little, not that song. But wow, totally lost the train of thought. Just in here, and just came out here.
Man, Andrew, best board games over 15 years old.
Writing it down.
Can I?
I don't know how many y'all.
Can I do that one in 10 years?
I got one immediately.
Yeah, I guess I've got at least 2.
Or maybe we could, Andrew, what about 10 years or older? Even that would make a great list.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Even that would be a fantastic list, and that gives us a ton more options. You're going to hear Zolkin again. And Castles of Burgundy. That was 2012. 2 repeats, just warning you.
There you go.
Man.
Andrew agrees. You have the blessing.
Wow. Great suggestion. I'm not lying, guys. Like, you throw these out and we'll cover them. So I write down these suggestions. We use this app called Basecamp.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second.
Well,
we pretend to use this app called Basecamp. And it is where I'm currently storing our topic ideas. So I have a virtual way, which is not this list that I'll just lose later. Ooh, man. David, I love your optimism. I'm not as big of an expert on games as Tim. My 20 and older, I'd have to look. I'll have to look. Off the top of my head, I'm struggling on 20 or older. I do love Catan, but not Carcassonne or Ticket to Ride.
I got 3 or 4 that I could do. That would be really tough. And Malik, I looked on Board Game Geek at that game. That looks amazing. Amazing. But how do we get, I don't remember now. Refresh my memory. Is that coming back into print? Because
Damn it, Jason.
Or is there going to be like a more affordable option? Because I feel like everything I've seen for that, it's super expensive, but man, it looks really good. It looks really good, Malik. Super interesting. And as far as like 20 years, woo, yeah, I mean, I could do 3. I have 3 right off the top of my head. After that, we'd get into some weird stuff. Okay, cool. Yeah. I thought that was that one.
Finding them isn't the issue, David. It's how many have I played that are a qualifier at those certain year differences.
Yeah,
I'm BG Stats hooked in and have been almost since I started in the hobby. So no worries there. Ooh,
So I
20
could
years
cheat.
though. One immediately comes to mind.
I could cheat because this is technically like a soft reprint of Queen's Gambit, and that's the Star Wars Risk. Isn't that? I'm pretty sure this was the
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit reprint,
Yeah.
but they
Yes.
rethemed it. Blah blah blah. I've got the awesome black box edition.
Nice.
Yeah, it's rad. I think
I've only played the cheaper, smaller Star Wars Risk, which still wasn't bad, actually.
no, it's.
But I've
it's
heard
better.
that's the one.
Well, Queen's Gambit's probably the
Oh,
one, but this is.
yeah.
Oh yeah, raw. No, I didn't replace. I must be just projecting my own wishes and dreams. I think my buddy Pete actually bought like micro machine versions of the Star Wars ships to put in here
Nice.
and use. I guess I've got enough X-wing ships I could use. I could use X-wings
Nice.
and things like that, and TIE fighters from my X-wing game
That's what we did
to-
for our Star
to
Wars
put in.
Risk.
to put in here.
Nice. I threw my micro machines in my heat box.
Oh yeah. Oh shoot.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. It's a good idea.
Oh, thank you, Jason. Oh my gosh. So one, yeah. Well, I'm gonna have. Let's take wagers on how many Knizia games will be in a 20 or older list. Because I'm just gonna say, I mean, it's a great list. We're almost gonna have to wait a month to use it because we're spoiling it. But Lost City's a card game. First one that came to mind. I love that game. I really do. I love elegant games that have difficult decisions, and Lost City's a card game nails that.
Well, and
Love that
let me tell you guys, we you have until tomorrow night 8 o'clock to enter to win a Reiner Knizia Classic
Good
reprinted
segue, sir.
Nightmare Productions, because when we drew our winner a week ago, he went AWOL on us. So if he reaches back out, guess what? He can get back in the drawing, and I wish him luck. May the odds be ever in your favor, sir. But yeah, in that one, I've only got one copy of to give away because I'm sure as heck not giving away my personal copy, but Trick or Treat Studios accidentally sent me 2 copies. Well, I bought
Yeah.
one. They accidentally sent me a copy, so I'm giving away
Instead of something else.
Yeah. They were supposed to send me Blood Orders and Shadowgate, and they sent me Shadowgate and Nightmare Productions, which was awesome. Except I bought Nightmare Productions at Gen Con.
Yeah.
Um,
And if somebody doesn't claim it this time, Mike gets it.
Okay,
Just kidding.
Th-
We're still giving it away. No, I'm kidding. I love Knizia auction games. Modern art will absolutely be in that top 10 of 20 or older, Jason. Oh my gosh, I love that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good ones in there. There's some good ones.
Mhm.
All right, does anybody have like a game design or 2 before we pop out? We're gonna pop out as close to 10 as possible.
Yeah.
But if anybody's got a crazy good, there you go, man. Look at this.
Wow.
David's hardcore, man.
I'd have. Well, most of mine, as many as I can find, will be Felds.
Yeah.
Kesselberg. Man, Bora Bora, I think it was 2014, which that's 10 years now. Dude,
9 years.
that's 10
but
years
yeah.
now. No, is it? I don't know.
It's
2014.
only
I don't know.
23.
Eh,
It's only 2023.
eh.
Cthulhu Wars almost 10 years. Well, when it went to Kickstarter.
I can't wait to look. I'm excited to look at that 10-year cutoff.
Yeah.
But we definitely, we seriously got to do at least 10 plus. We'll have to look at 15 and 20 and see where it goes.
See what falls off. Yeah,
Where
the
that-
Survive Escape from Atlantis is good. Man, that's
See if we can make that 2 separate lists. If we can, a 10 and 20, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
oof. Lots of Candylands and Monopolies on there. Yeah. I mean, like Hero Quest could be on my list.
Man,
that's an
I'll tell
easy
you.
one.
Oh yeah. There's one I acquired that's on my shelf of shame. An old Rudiger Dorn game, Traders of Genoa, that I still gotta play. It's a trading kind of Euro-esque game. Oh man. Somebody tell me good things about that game because I want to play that so bad. um,
Oh, Malik, are you gonna if you are gonna be at Origins or a Gen Con,
or Northern Indiana.
or Northern Indiana, I will, if I know people want to play, I will bring that game. I will. I'm just saying, because that is an experience that I love to have and share. I have taught that game at Gen Con for a couple of years in a row. It is one of my it is my number 2 all-time favorite game. I am happy to teach it. I'm happy to teach it. So if you're going to be if you're going to be at a con, man, if you're going to be at a con, let us know. I will. We can make that happen.
And we are happy to host viewers that want to play games. We had
100%.
one viewer come down and he played games with us all weekend. I'm already in discussions. I don't know if Tim is aware. I am in discussions with another viewer coming to play games with us. If Mike hosts for an all-day Saturday thing again, that has been discussed.
And just so you know, Willie, mine would technically qualify because I do have the first edition Game of Thrones in addition to the second edition.
Pretty certain he means 2013 on that one, but
no,
what? The original?
I bought my first edition.
First edition.
I bought my first edition Game of Thrones in at least 2005, at least that early, if not earlier. Yeah.
But yes, if you're in Northern Indiana, like seriously, hit up Board Game Rundown. Like we have a regular group that meets up Friday nights. We record in our studio Sunday afternoons. Sometimes we do some stuff on Saturday. But yeah, like we try to be accommodating for sure. We love gaming with new people. Heck, Tim and Bob organize a local meetup once a month.
We do. Willie's my guy, man. Willie, it's like you've been here the whole time, man. You're my guy. I love it. That was one of the first hobby style board games that I ever bought. That I bought it at the store I was at the time buying my role-playing game books from, but it's because I love the Game of Thrones, obviously those novels so much. I was like, well, hell, I got to try this board game. I guess I'll spend like $50 on a board game. That sounds insane. Even though I'm dropping like, all kinds of money on source books for role-playing games.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. Origins and Gen Con. There's more than corn in Indiana.
Yeah, there's me and Mike.
And that.
Or Mike and I.
And Tim's like, and this. Yeah. We're in that area. That's in his like backyard.
Yeah, it really kind of is. But yeah, man, Malik, if you can ever make it, if you're going to be at one of those cons, if anybody's going to be at one of those cons, I'll just say it right now. If you guys are going to be at Gen Con or Origins, we're going to be there this year. If you're going to be there, you need to get in there and you guys need to hook up with us. Let us know. Let's play a game together.
Willie's in our Discord now. I just got the notification.
I saw it. I didn't get to see the thing, but yeah.
I pulled my notification bar down because Android is clearly superior.
Yeah, you and me both, Willie. You and me both. But yeah, if you guys are going to be at a con and we're going to be there, reach out. There's nothing more than we would love to do than to play a game with you. I'm serious. I am serious. I love playing games with new people. I love hanging out with new people and meeting people. That's one of my favorite things about this hobby and doing the show. Even before doing the show.
Yeah, booth at Origins and Gen Con.
Yeah.
After that, unfortunately, we're not going to be at like PAX U or the Dice Tower Cons or Gateway to the West. We're fully in with a booth for Origins and Gen Con though, because they are closer to us.
Now Bob might be at Geekway. I don't know. I'd have to ask. Okay, so David, David. So what Mike and I were doing every once in a while is people would pitch a board
Where
game
is it?
theme, and then Mike and I have
Whoops,
to.
sorry.
Yeah, there it is. And then Mike and I have to pitch, like give you just like an elevator pitch, like a 2-minute pitch on what we think that game would be. Oh boy. Oh,
He had another
Jason.
one earlier that sounded way easier, and now this.
Oh, I think I would call it to pay or not to pay. That is the question. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to follow this up, and I'm just laughing too hard to. Wow.
As a bald guy, I will say, don't trust a guy with a comb over or a toupee, because if they're
Wow.
lying to themselves, they're gonna lie to you. That's my saying as far as that goes. But
Free hair. No catch. Don't wig out.
don't wig out. Somebody gave me, I think it was my in-laws, gave me a game called Wig Out.
I want to play this because it is just right up my alley. I've almost bought it a few times. Yes.
Snake oil is a ton of fun. I played it with my niece. Like she had it, and
now we need to give them an idea.
We've done it.
Jason, I'm trying to find your first one. What was
wasn't it? Wasn't it something about like
this?
Battling mascots? Yeah, off-brand mascots.
That's all we got. We can try.
Okay.
If somebody hits us with another one, just any crazy idea that we can turn into a game concept. We just do it on the fly for fun at the end of our stream sometimes. That's it. What you got?
Yeah.
Jason knows the drill. And he's clever. He says only in chat, though. He says he's not clever in person.
Well, fair. But when we meet him in person, what we'll do is we'll hand him a dry erase board and we'll just have him write down all of his good ideas.
Message me your ideas, dude.
Let's see. Oh yeah, no, like David, we're not like
No,
I mean,
we're
listen.
It's just a elevator pitch of a goofy game idea. We're not full-fledged designers. We're not going to play test. It's just totally an idea.
Okay, so here's my game. Is you are a mascot and you're trying to make it to the big leagues of the mascots, right? Like, so you're for like a small community college, and so there's going to be all these different goofy mascots, okay, that you're going to pick from, or you could choose, you could draft, whatever, however you like to do it, right? And then the idea is you're trying to get in the new Capital One commercial where they got all the college football, mascots running around and doing stuff. And so now you're going to be playing cards that are going to be like zany ways to draw attention to yourself and your small community college. But there could be negative things, right? Like, so.
Ooh, there could be negative things. I don't know where he was going with this design. So my filler's going to be inadequate. Tim, come back to us. Finish your game idea. I can't do that for you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're trying to do is you're trying to do all these crazy things so you could get the attention, and then you get that audition to be in the Capital One commercial. But the crazier the thing you do, the more negativity you could have. So there's some backlash. So you've got to find like a balance. So you're playing these cards, they're going to have positive and negatives. They're going to move you up on these good tracks and bad tracks at the same time. So maybe you go streaking across campus with just the mascot hat on, which is really funny, get you a lot of attention. It goes viral, but there's also a lot of negativity that comes with that. But then maybe you're visiting like children's hospitals, like you go to Iowa and you wave with all the sick kids, right? During halftime or whatever point in the game that they do that at Iowa football games. You could go and enter dunk contests, like slam dunk contests at the halftime of games. But there's some dexterity there, so don't fall on your face, or maybe you do fall on your face because it does better. You get more clicks that way. I don't know. I'm just pitching a thing. It would require. There's a lot of balance issues here, but yeah, I'd have a couple of tracks. But I would highlight the amazing art that it would have. Just gonna say it's kind of amazing art. It's got to have amazing art. It's going to pull you in. It's going to be all these funny, goofy mascots. That's my thing.
Wow.
Look at this. And
I
see,
was kind
David-
of I was kind of catching myself just thinking of goofy mascots, not necessarily off-brand, but see what it would be. It's essentially going to be Sorcerer's Arena rethemed with your favorite mascots. You can pick. Do you want to be a Boilermaker, a Golden Gopher? Do you want to be a Knickerbocker? Sweet, take the Knickerbocker deck and mix it with your Boilermaker deck.
Oh, I see.
See what kind of attacks you can come up with. Oh, with this Purdue card, I get to start strong and then finish poorly. Great.
Oh, dang. See, when you said like
with
weird
this
mascots,
Knickerbocker card, I get a ton of fan praise, but don't have any wins to show for it.
I see what you did there.
There you go.
I thought you maybe go
Yeah,
like
Buckeye, a nut.
the Santa Cruz banana slug, or
Ooh.
yeah. David's got me here, right? Yeah, Smash Up or King of Tokyo.
Nittany Lions.
I would definitely play a King of Tokyo, college mascot themed King of Tokyo, right? Because I want my leprechaun. I want my Fighting Irish leprechaun in there. Like I want the Wolverine in there. I want the USC Trojan. The Dookie.
Blue Devil.
Oh yeah, Blue Devil. They're the Dookies. I do like Ginger here. Yeah. Yeah. Let you look at the other player's hand is what the Patriot ability does.
Able to summon cards cheaper than other players.
Right. Yeah. So that would be it. That would be it.
That wasn't our best game pitch, but maybe it's been a little while.
We've had better. We will hone.
Thank you, Nick. See, drinking whiskey, coming up with college drinking games out of college mascot mugs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's funny, David, you say that because Dan, that's on the show, he did a retheme of, wasn't it One Night Ultimate, but he did it One Night in Gotham, and he even paid and printed some really great looking like Batman villain cards with that.
Yeah, and we did rethemes this time instead of coming up with our own blend of mechanics. Usually we do. Like, what was it? Just an idea off the top of my head that I do remember. Like Jason, I think, had the 21st century traveling door-to-door salesman, and they came up with a pick up and deliver route building game where you have to increase the speed of your vehicle to move your salespeople to additional homes, but you have different abilities to unlock how high your success rate of selling your product is and increase the price you can sell it for. Like, that was a cool idea I came up with probably a month ago. Today's idea, not our best.
That's okay. It's okay. I like this giant forehead Manning mascots. Yeah.
Gosh dang it. See, Angie looking at my basement again.
But yeah, David, with the with like Dan's thing, it was just a little personal use thing. I love looking at people's only like their private ones that they've made and printed out on their own. A lot of times they look great and are super cool. I'm not that creative. I wish I was that creative. I'm jealous of people that are that creative.
For me, it's
and talented.
the patience to play test my ideas and refine them. Like, I can come up with a cool concept, refining that concept into full-fledged ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Leave that up to those designers. We are not those. But we're just a few guys that love to talk about games, review them, come up with crazy top 10s, and hopefully, Tim, this weekend we are so due for a studio top 10.
We are.
To 20 years or older for studio top.
No, I think the studio top 10 has to be the colorblind, the top
Yes.
things for colorblind people.
Ooh, and we have Bob this weekend.
Yeah, that's
We need him for that.
You gotta do it with Bob.
Because I don't know how we could do it for him, other than games I've heard him say, "Oh, that didn't work for me." Like there's several that pop out.
Scoville specifically, which is a game I love, but Bob can't play.
Now he said friendly, so it'd be
it's got to be the opposite. It's got to be good ones.
Yeah.
It's got to be good.
It's a great idea for a list, though. Like,
yeah,
honestly, it just needs to be Bob's list, and then us sitting in there talking to him. I don't know, like,
yeah. I mean, and I'd be fine with
idea,
that.
Though.
I'd be fine with that because I think that'd be a great idea. Because we could also, I think the interesting thing would be we come up with our lists, and then Bob's like, "Nope, that's a terrible one," or "That's a good one."
All the time, I see people talking about it in the Facebook groups all the time. We're in all the biggest ones, 50, 60,000 members, Facebook groups talking about colorblind friending games frequently. Mm-hmm. So and I just can't. No, I'm not going to say that I religiously watch all the big channels. I don't. I watch them occasionally. I don't know who's covering that. It's a great idea for a list. Talk about an inclusive community. Mm-hmm. We're really breeding into that with that topic. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And we get to feed off of, not writing, feed off of. There's a difference.
I like to think of it as capitalizing on.
Well done.
on Bob's alternative viewing. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, and this is legitimate. The amazing thing is with having a friend like Bob, right? That has some colorblind, stuff going on. It is really like opened my mind to how I look at these things, and yeah, a lot of hate views, Andrew. But no, with Bob's unique, no pun intended, perspective, like it really makes me consider things when I'm looking at games and recommending games to other people. So like Malik was saying, Scoville's getting a reprint. Man, I hope so, because I think that wasn't Scoville made by oh gosh, aren't they gone now? Tasty Minstrel. So, maybe somebody else got that.
I think it was.
Got that.
Hard to say. Yeah.
But I just
like I know one in particular that popped out because Bob and I did the review. And Splendor Duel is better than original Splendor in every single way, except this time they didn't pay attention to color blindness at all. Because in the original Splendor, every gem is a different shape. So not only a different color, it's also a distinct shape. In Splendor Duel, the colors are like those sort of, I call them ruby pieces, those acrylic, like little chunk things you get in so many different games. The colors are just those chunks. There's no discerning features on the exterior of those ore chunks that makes one look vastly different than the other. Whereas a specific gem design in the original Splendor, Bob pointed that out. I'm like, wow, that's the same publishing company as Space Cowboys. So obviously they went with a totally different graphic design choice in the second edition. That's the only thing worse than Splendor Duel than the original, because otherwise Duel is a far superior game. If you're playing it 2 players, of course.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, that one stuck out to me. That's the same publishing company and everything, but they had a new art direction. The art and the drawings are all totally different person and all that. But it's crazy the same publishing company wouldn't consider that.
But again, why now as designers, and this is how the industry has evolved and drone and everything, right? This is why iconography is so important, so critical to games, is because if you can have really good iconography, not only do you get away from being color dependent for people that have colorblind issues, but you can also get away from language dependency, right? Which is now going to give your game a broader appeal, you know, outside of your home country, right? So I think it's really cool. And yeah, David, I can tell you, I know Bob has marked up components on his games, you know, to make them stand out,
Yeah.
make it so that, you know, games he loves, he can play easily and everything. And yeah, Bob jokes about having a PhD in
And-
iconography.
Yeah, really. And Andrew, I agree with you. I like the more sort of cartoony art in Splendor Duel. And even though the original Splendor art is more detailed, it's just too serious. Like, it's a 30-minute game, and you got these guys like intently staring at these gems, like it's like
that's
that. It's just you know in the box. That's my impression of the Splendor box. Let me cross my eyes more so I can be more intense. But yeah, just I don't know. It's fine. But when I saw the new art, I definitely preferred it. I agree.
I like that Splendor art, but you know, it's
subjective. I do too.
It's
the new art's better though. If you haven't paid any attention, I don't think you've played it, Orland.
I haven't, but I like looking and going, hey, that's Jon Snow. Oh, hey, that's Robert Baratheon.
Yeah, art in games is important, folks.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I get it, man. I get it. You got to do what you got to do to get your games played so you can play them and enjoy them. And it's nice because I believe that people are now more considerate, right? As the game as the hobby has opened up to more people and more walks of life, you start to learn more, right? You start to learn the needs of people and what they're looking at. And so,
yeah, and it's
great.
It's easy because you've got more companies kind of setting the precedent that if one thing needs to be a certain color, then just add an icon to the color. That's it.
Right.
That's all you got to do. Just make a separate icon for that color. Make it an element, you know? Anyway, it seems very easy to add an icon instead of a color in both.
And that's crazy, Jason, because Trick or Treat has got this new Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming out, which I'm personally very excited about. I need to actually reach out to Joe, from Trick or Treat about it. But I know that they had like a classic game. They're doing like a second edition of Gold Rush, I believe. So they're getting some other titles that aren't just horror titles under their belt. So it's really interesting that they're going to get the new Scoville. That's very cool and good for them because honestly, the couple of people that I've interacted with that company, I like quite a bit personally. And so I hope that gives them more appeal for gamers. No, Gold Rush. Sorry, not Gold Rush, but that's really Gold West. Gold West. Thank you, Jason.
Did you say Mancala?
Yeah, Mike's him. But I hope that this gives them broader appeal for gamers that aren't into the horror genre, and gives them more titles under their belt, makes them a more viable company. Oh, it's on the list. It's on the list. Gold West. Yeah.
I want more Mancala games. I'm about to buy Crusaders.
Maybe they'll get Belfort and Coliseum and some other good games, and they can do some good things with them. So I guess we'll see what happens.
Scoville's fun.
I like Scoville quite a bit. I think it's really good. But for next week, Manhattan Project Chemistry. We might be. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but that could be. Pardon the thumping, if there's any thumping. But I mean, that could be what Chemical Overlord turns into. Overload. Excuse me, Overlord.
So, Tim, I just want to let you know, behind this recording device, approximately 20 feet back there, I have the
As-
new Beavis and Butthead on television.
Oh, dude, it's really good. If you like
I'm
Beavis and
recording it.
Butthead,
I haven't
it's
seen
really
it yet.
good.
I love Beavis and Butthead. Are you serious?
I watch it on Paramount. I like it. I like it. And yeah, Ginger, you're right. Shadows over Camelot needs a reprint.
Oh,
So does Mystery at the Abbey, which is getting a reprint, I
reprints.
think.
Games that need a reprint. Writing it down. Reprint games that need reprints.
Yep.
Putting that in our base camp that we don't use.
But we should.
That's
But
right.
we should.
All right, Tim's fading a little bit. I saw you on.
Well,
We got a lot of people still in here, though.
I know it's
It's a shame
cooking.
to leave when we have 16 people still in here. We're just like feeding off the chats. You guys are more comments we get, longer the show goes.
And Malik, you're right. Yeah, he just passed recently, didn't he?
Yeah,
I
that's
believe
true.
so.
Yeah, it was.
It's too bad. It's too bad. Here we go. David's the Robo Rally fan. I've never played, but
They should reprint a bunch of old Feld games, put them in bigger boxes, and charge $100 per box.
well, but change the name of the city that they're based on, though, right?
That's
Just to like
yes.
spice it up,
Yeah, I agree.
and then that way you
I'm-
can charge twice as much as what the game's worth.
I'm writing that down.
Yep. I think he's just writing down cuss words.
No, they're on the list. On it.
Reprints.
I can't wait to look up older games. Like I'm still, as soon as I get off the stream, I'm gonna look at like what year we can make that list happen. I'm so excited for that one. I don't
There's
know
my
if
yawn.
that's gonna be studio. Wow. Ooh, 20-year-old games that need reprints. We're combining it.
Woof. Woof.
Battlestar
At least-
Galactica. No,
At least
that's
Fire.
10.
Yeah, that's 10. At least Fireball Island we can knock off that list now. And
PSG
Return
is
to Dark
what?
Tower.
08? Is it
No,
2011?
maybe.
2011, I was thinking. Anyway. So many of those Felds are right at that. My favorite Felds are right at that 10-year mark. Can't remember if Trajan and Bora Bora are 13 or 14. I think
Man.
Trajan's 13.
DC Deck Builder's probably like 11 years old now, so I can get that on there. Need to Jason's
Libertalia.
Jason's my guy. Libertalia would definitely be one. And yeah, Ginger, you're right, Jonathan, but that's also you're not right because there's people want Battlestar Galactica. I
Ooh.
again preach the unfathomable. I think it's a great game, but I get it. People want Battlestar Galactica. It's a great theme.
Well, it unfathomable doesn't replace BSG, to my
No,
understanding.
Not really.
And BSG is still the far superior game. So
Yeah, I mean the
full
purists,
disclosure.
the purists will say that, but Unfathomable plays faster. It streamlines some things, and it does a lot
Half
of
the
things
time,
really
right?
well. I wouldn't say half, but it probably takes at least a half an hour off of it. And Munchkin reprint. Holy crap, that wasn't the one I was going for. But
They're doing. Oh,
I get it. I mean, yeah, you don't care about any of the characters because you watch the show and you're into the characters. I totally get it. And I respect that. But I do
there's
enjoy
a
the game
Boilermaker.
quite a bit.
No, there's an engineer. Sorry.
Yeah. Sid Saxon games. Oof. Man, they would be old.
I just have limited exposure to those.
Yeah.
The Munchkin reprint is happening. There's they're slapping the South Park theme on it. May actually get me to check out Munchkin for the first time. Probably not, but it might.
I've got several iterations of Munchkin. I don't mind it every once in a while. It's fine. And no, Trevor, you're good, man. I get it, right? People love Battlestar Galactica. You know, it's got its fandom and its following. It's a fantastic game, but I find both serviceable. Well, you know, Unfathomable is very serviceable for that experience.
Let's retheme it. You should retheme it.
Unfathomable.
Yeah. or BSG.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Deep cuts.
Yeah, now we're getting into some good ones. Wow.
Well, yes, you already called out my number one, Jason. I played Clans of Caledonia once last year, put it in my top 20. I love Clans of Caledonia. Well, yeah, hard to say. Well, yeah, and what's sad is nobody's going to get Rallyman Dirt, and yet they're selling it retail next month. that's sad.
Okay, hold on. Andrew F says an ogre reprint. Let me just turn my camera. Do you see that massive
I'm aware of this.
massive ogre box? It is sealed
No.
still. I haven't even opened
What?
that thing. Yeah, Willie, they did the big old Kickstarter a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean it's probably 10 years ago almost now. It's been a while since they did the big one. But I got it over there. I got it in shrink. I've never cracked it open.
Wow.
But could be on my shelf of shame.
It is your shelf of shame.
Yeah, it is. And yeah, Andrew, that's the colossal like designer's edition. So that's from the Kickstarter that they did a while back. But yeah.
Man, we're running out of content. We still have 16 viewers, Tim. We're just feeding off comments. Look at this. They are giving us the content.
They are. That's
the best part about reprints is a great list. That's
holy crap.
I remember that one being mentioned a while ago. Man, I was surprised at how many rules there were for that tiny little game.
Oh, for Space Hulk, for sure.
Yes. I tried to learn that from the book. I'm like, what am I doing? This shouldn't be so hard.
Yeah, it's a deck of cards. Yeah, David, this was a big talk in the Discord lately.
I just haven't played enough of them that are good, because especially with like Apex Legends coming to board game from Glass Cannon, like, yeah, a lot of people are stoked about that.
Right.
Bob has Frostpunk, but the barrier to get that thing to the table, good Lord.
I got Frostpunk right back there. I just punched it the other day.
Yeah, just trying to get that thing to the table and learning it. Oh, David, all right. So, that's one of my favorite themes of all time. It is my favorite video game IP of all time. I was so pumped to play the first Fallout board game, and I couldn't stand that game. That was one of the first games I was extremely let down by. A group of 4 people agreed to stop before we finished. Progressing the end game was weird and ambiguous. There was no just go to the market and buy the stuff you want. It was, pull a card and talk to somebody, and then maybe you'll get to go to the market. No, just let me buy that stuff. Well, you can't. You got to pull from this deck. Random stuff happens. Didn't work for me at all. Love the Fallout universe. Love it, love it, love it. I'll have more Fallout crap in my basement soon.
Nix, that hurts my heart, man. That hurts my heart. As bad as Feudum. Hold on. Where's my Feudum? Oh, you can't really see it, but it is over there on the shelf.
Like sideways. I want to try that game, but just heard the barrier to entry.
It is right there, right underneath Sparkle Kitty. My heaviest game and my lightest games, right on top of each other.
Man, you guys are killing it tonight. Most complex card-only game. Man.
The one I haven't played, Glory to Rome, maybe. There's a bunch of them.
It's got a player board.
Oh, crunchy, overly complex and complicated with only a deck of cards. Terrors of London. I really like that game, but there's a lot of, I wouldn't say over complex, but there's a lot of complexity with the different combos that you can pull off in that game. But Terrors of
David,
London.
are you asking about Fallout? There has been more than so technically there's the Fallout the board game.
Uh-huh.
Then there's Fallout the miniature tactical miniatures game. There's Fallout Shelter, which looks like a pretty cool entry level worker placement game based off of the mobile game actually. And I kind of want to get it because it comes in a lunchbox. Then there's that. Yeah.
I don't have Hot and Totten or whatever it is, but
Yeah, it's okay. We need to play it. It's okay. Glory to Rome's okay. Sorry. Wow, I haven't even played that Rum and Cub. Sorry. Nostalgia games. Okay, but just nostalgia games. Wow, look at this. You guys are killing it tonight. See, Tim, just these topic ideas are worth us hanging on. Look at this. See, right underneath where I put Barbie Girl music video, I put nostalgia. See that?
That's Mike's watch list for later tonight.
That was you remember what that was from?
Oh, I do, but I couldn't pass up the chance for a good joke.
Twixt. See, I don't. Man, yeah, I've never played Rum and Cub.
Me neither. But that's the thing, right? If you can get that game played, why ever never get rid of it? As long as you're getting a game played, never get rid of it. That's nope.
I'm not sure it wouldn't make the list because it's not much of a game. Remember that? It was just behind me. And
are you infected? Is this how we tell?
yes.
Soda
Pop flavors. And see, this game came out in like late 80s or early 90s, so some of the topics are just awful.
Tab, Crystal Pepsi. I'm just trying to think of stuff like old
flavors, not brands.
Oh, sure. Another interesting one is oh gosh, I totally forgot what I was going to say now. It left me.
Scrabble, sir.
Balderdash.
Nothing wrong with Scrabble, man.
I'll play some Balderdash all
That's market
day.
games. Look at these great topics.
Now,
I got a bunch of great mass market games. Huh?
Mike might be better at this one than me, but
ooh, I never heard that one. Wow. I'm going to pair my Elijah Craig small batch, which I'm currently done drinking, as you can tell, with a game that got a very small batch of printing, which is Wonderlands War.
Oh, boy.
They didn't print enough of this game. It's in the 200s now. It's like 260s last I looked. This game is blowing up. It was my favorite non-social deduction game from 2022. They have Skybound is out of the publishing part. There's no plans to reprint it other than just second edition deluxe. That's it. Talk about small batch. They vastly underestimated how popular Wonderlands War was going to be. Nice. Don't make me write down rabbit hole. I'm looking for whiskey suggestions too.
So yeah, David, this would be my issue as well. But let me just say, if we were going to play, what is it, Yukon Gold, right? You could drink Yukon Jack with that. If I'm going to play Western Legends, which I need to get it off of my shelf of shame, I'm just going to say Wild Turkey because I need a mean old whiskey to play with a game where we're going to play some mean old cowboys.
Well, yeah, David, I'm still fairly new to the game. I've tried a lot, but the deeper selections of whiskey. Hey, there's Steve. The deeper selections of whiskey I'm learning now as we do more of these, tongue twister streams. I keep discovering more whiskey brands.
Hey, good to see you, Steve. And I'm not going to say but VZ board gaming accessories, dude. That's a good.
We considered that one. I feel like we'd have a lot of crossover, so maybe we can get more specific.
I don't know, man. I think if we did like a top 5, I think if we did a top 5 board game accessories, must have board game accessories, I bet you we could come up with some crazy stuff.
Steve totally breaking the stream. Steve, my number 4 was the board for Terracotta Army. I think it has a really cool board.
And David, there you go. A rye. Yeah, you're right. There you go.
Love it.
Andrew, have a fantastic night, Andrew. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for
And you've been Andrew.
And you've been Andrew. Weren't we talking about this on the Discord as well? A little bit?
I don't remember that one. Stop it, guys. Stop. I don't mean that, but stop.
What's scary to me with that one is that there's so many games that I like that are sort of violent themes or territory control. I don't want to live in any of those because I have.
Tim's going to live in horror game show.
Yeah, no thanks. Only if I can be the producer.
I don't want anyone to criticize me for drinking too much. I was talking while writing after drinking too much, which led to games to live in. Games to live game. Games to live in. And he was Andrew.
All right, David. Yeah, you're right. It is getting late, man. I gotta crash out too. This is probably as good a time as any to end it.
2.5 is really our limit when we don't have guests. but you guys make are like the cog that keeps this wheel churning. Like we come up with a list, we cultivate it, we chat about games, and then we literally just leave it up to you guys in the comments, and you guys make our content for like an hour afterwards. And so it's like that's why we keep doing it. That's why we love streaming. Tim, fill in because
that's it. And David, man. Any Star Trek game, I guess, like safely, I could live in. I'd be all right. And I just started watching Picard, so I'm really excited. I'm back into it, man. that universe. Yeah, who chose?
We currently are, dude. No,
well,
we were.
Let's be past it. Let's be past it. But no, you guys are fantastic. You are the reason for the season, right? And that's what we do. Mike and I can hang out and BS all night, but it's way better when we got you guys doing it with us. Yep. So whether you join early, whether you join late, we're just happy to see you. And again, don't forget, if you're going to be at a con, hit us up. If you can get into the Discord and chat with us, please do. Because
I saw Willie was in there. Cheers.
We want to spend time with you guys. We love hanging out with you guys and talking with you guys.
That's what we do.
We're just passionate about board games, just like all y'all, and we just love talking about it. And
love to hang out, play games.
Goofballs that got lucky enough to have a platform to do it.
Yep, pretty much. All true statements. Love to play games. Love to chat about games. And if you're in the area, play them with us, or at the cons we're going to be at. Seriously, that's what we're all about. But yeah, again, you guys are awesome. The comments make this. Love seeing the new people in here. Every Wednesday at 8:00, this is our thing. We drink whiskey. We talk about crazy board game topics. Would love to see you again next week. And yeah, we're going to keep bringing in more guests. The guests are a blast.
I have to say this because I heard this, like I say to my wife, because we say it to each other to be funny, and it's like bye all the
Oh,
time.
yes.
So that's how I read that, right?
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah. And also, guys, we're talking about maybe doing this like occasionally on a Friday too. So if a Friday is good for you, we might even live stream from a studio soon on a Sunday or a Friday. So hang out, pay attention,
Yeah.
because we're going to be popping in and we're going to be, running off the comments like we always do.
And you guys have loaded us up with new topics. Cheers to all of you. Colorblind friendly games, nostalgia games, mass market games, complex card only games, reprint games, games we want to live in. These are awesome suggestions. Thank you. Because we will talk about those topics I just mentioned. They're great suggestions.
Yeah. You guys are awesome. Also, tomorrow night, we're going to redraw for the Nightmare Productions. So everybody that's here, go comment on that video. That's all you got to do to enter. Yeah. And then I'm going to stop adding stuff so that we can actually get off of this and go to bed. But I love all y'all. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. It's been amazing.
You're all awesome. And if you're not done talking about games, hit us up in the Discord. I'll be up for another hour.
Yeah, probably.
Talking about these new topics I get to research. 10-year-old games.
No doubt.
All of them.
All of them.
I mean, better be able to. At my house, it's all of them.
Yeah,
so
that's
come
true.
on over.
That's true.
Okay. Signing off.
All right. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
I was Mike.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.